How has that been?
I think it's been great. You know, it starts at the center. Parker does a tremendous job. Booker's a tremendous communicator. You know, so just getting the guys that haven't played as much or had to communicate as well, getting them to really feel confident. Communication is confidence, right? And it's not just in football, it's any part of the business world, whatever. When people are confident, right, they talk loud, you can understand them. If they're not sure, then it becomes lower and mumbly, right? So that's the thing. I mean, we even say loud and wrong, right, law. Like, make a call, and if it's not right, somebody can correct it. Mm-hmm. And if all five guys are on the same page, we're probably going to be okay still, right? So it's the guy that mumbles, doesn't say anything, that hurts us. So, and then when you get on the road, then it becomes magnified.
You hear the same thing about the secondary. If it's a bad call, as long as everybody's on a bad call, it might not be a disaster.
If we're all on the same page, you got a chance. There's no question.
How would you compare where Parker is now to where he was 5 or 6 months ago?
I just think his confidence, you know, in the room, his confidence of playing here, and I think just the bonding he's had with the guys. He's very comfortable with everybody. You know, there was a lot of change that hit him quickly. So I think he feels real comfortable where he's at with everything. So you see the growth there.
Mm-hmm. And just for you, I think Tyler mentioned on the radio the other day that you have a really good knowledge of the scheme. And it's also new to you because this is your first year learning it. So how did you have to learn it to then teach players?
Yeah, it was drinking through a fire hose. You know, when I got here late February, we basically had a little over 2 weeks till spring ball starts. So not only are you trying to get to know your guys and bond with them, you're learning a whole new scheme. You know, in my career, probably the last 16 years, I've pretty much had control of the protections, the run game, everything, you know, as far as at least how we develop it. And then coming in here, protection schemes, I had to adapt right away with what they have done when they came over from Washington. We were able to input some of my communication in the run game. Run game is run game. We ran all the plays through the years, so I felt confident about that. But it's definitely a learning curve. There's no question.
And just for you personally, you've been kind of a whirlwind 12 months where you went to Baylor, and you know, back here, just what's it like being in Tuscaloosa, having a game on Saturday, and being a coach on the sideline here?
You know, it's kind of a surreal deal, right? I sit back and I think about, you know, after the second week of last season, we're 2-0. I'm at my house, 11:30 p.m. I see a tweet that a head coach had an improper relationship, and at that point, you know, we're probably done here. And then you went through a tumultuous year with all kinds of issues, and you're like, all right, we got to find a place where we're going to go. You finally pick the place you think is best for you and your family. You get in there, you get your kid in school right away because he's a junior, he's going to be a senior. You buy a house, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, you get a call from Alabama. But to my wife and son's credit, they looked at me and said, it's Alabama, ready to go. So that made it much better and easier for me. So, you know, it's just, it's coming full circle. You know, I've been here a couple of times as a coach visiting these guys. I mean, sometimes I sit there and kind of think to myself, you know, I'm here at Alabama. This is the best place in the country. There's nothing better than it. So it is pretty cool.
What part of your personality do you want this line to show?
Yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, if people say that O-line played hard, physical, through the whistle, those are the things I want to really start with. Then, obviously, technically sound communication. We don't cut guys loose, all that good stuff, right? But, man, it still starts up front. Be confident, play physical. Good things are going to happen when you do that.
You mentioned that.
What pleasantly surprised you about this group from the start of fall camp until now?
Pleasantly surprised me. You know, O-line coaches usually don't ever feel pleasantly surprised at fall camp. I just think that I think that there's been some good growth with the guys bonding with each other. You know, we have kind of a group. There's a big gap between a few of the older guys that played and the younger guys. I had said earlier, I think of the 23 guys in my room, 17 of them are first year or second year guys. And then you got those older guys that have played. So bringing them together and bringing them along has come along better than I thought. So I think that's a huge plus.
Sorry if you've already been asked about this, but just have you seen that right tackle competition play out?
It's a competition, you know, and they're competing, and that's great for them. It's great for us, right? Anytime that you have to work hard every day to earn your job or your spot, you keep your spot, that makes those guys both better. So we're still in that competition phase for sure.
I know you've talked about like a possible rotation there. Just how have those guys kind of embraced that when you mentioned that to them?
Both of them want to be the guy. Both of them want to be on the field the whole time, right? But they'll understand if they see the big picture that there's some strengths to being able to rotate guys. You're maybe a little fresher than some of the other guys. And I do think, you know, they're not going to like it as much as I will. But again, that competition, you know, if you know there's somebody that can take your job, if you're not giving everything you have every minute of every day and every second of every play, that's great for us.
Two more for Coach.
How is Jaden got to make her use his hand and being physical?
he's grinding through it. He's a tough kid, working hard, making it happen. I trust he's going to be just fine come game day.
With the first 2 games being at home, how important is it for the offensive line to figure out and work on communication when you're in a little friendlier environment, voice-wise?
Oh, it's huge. It's hard to replicate when you're on the road in a hostile environment, but this gives us a chance to get into a live setting against other teams. And this team here is going to test our communication like nobody else. You're going to get a plethora of looks, fronts, stunts, blitzes, things that don't seem right, and they'll do it anyways because they know it causes confusion. So it's communication with the whole line, but it's also with the backs, the quarterback. It's really critical. So we'll get tested with that Saturday for sure.
Appreciate y'all.